What's up, guys? Chasing Lane, we're here with episode 22 of Red vs. Blue. Today's episode after the disappointment of the Vanarama North playoffs last season. We've got a whole new season and a transfer special, of course. So, without any further ado, like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave the comments down below, and I'm going to see you after this intro.
Streets are full of dreams and lies. Every corner has a story. With a pint and cloudy skies, we chase our fleeting glory. Manchester Knights are calling. In the madness we are falling. Round and round the wheels turning. Bright city always burning.
So we're coming on the red side of Manchester after for the beginning of yet another season in the Vanarama North, our second season in the Vanarama North. And to be honest, looking at the league table, who in this division this year, possibly the easiest we've had it. There are no ex-league, maybe Hereford and Chester technically count, but there are no recent ex-league clubs in this table, which is quite nice for us. But let's start on the red side. Let's go a little bit who we are signing for this season, shall we? So on the red side, I've been slightly more conservative with my transfers than usual yet, but a lot of players for the future just to fill in gaps in the squad. And we start with 17-year-old Joe Reed, who joins us from Manchester United. He is a central midfielder who can also play as an attacking midfielder. He's nowhere near the finished article yet, but I feel like he's probably good enough to be in and around our squad for this first season. And if we loan him out, we can't loan him. He's on a non-contract. But he's a pretty good player, pretty good prospect. Hasn't played at all for Manchester, of course, having been released at 17. But you know, we'll give him a try. We'll see what he does, and we lose nothing if it doesn't work out. Now, after last season, I wanted to strengthen our defence a little bit. Ben Hockenhull fits that bill. He's a very, very big lad, and that's always a good start. Very good fit, of course, for this level. Decent credentials. Not the best technicals, but he's already a leading player for this level who could step up to the next one. In terms of his career history, he's cited for us having been released by Tranmere. He didn't play last season, but has played in League 2 the previous 2 seasons, which should be a sign of his quality. Another former Manchester United youngster who went to Brentford, had a season at Warrington before joining Tranmere, and has done fairly well in League 2 for them, it has to be said. 7 average ratings last season, all from starts, and from 38 games, 6.9 the previous season. So obviously something's happened there. The manager, I guess, may have changed, but anyone didn't fancy him. Either way, he should do a very, very good job for us. It really does help sort of back our defence up, which hopefully will make the difference between promotion and playoffs for this season. So we'll have to wait and see what he does. We're back to the Manchester United for the right winger Neil Hoskins. He's a Welshman, 18 years old, already a leading National League North player with potential to play in the division above. Has decent pace. His technicals aren't quite there, nor his mental, but he's 18. He'll develop. He is already the best winger on our squad. You can see he's better than Fitzmartin and Catesby, according to our scouts, which is a ringing endorsement because I thought Fitzmartin and Catesby were very, very good for us last season. But again, as far as I'm aware, he hasn't played a first-team game for United in any competition. He's only played 3 sole appearances in their reserves, which is a bit of a concern, I guess. But, we'll teach him the ropes. We'll get him into first-team football, and hopefully he'll come through and become a really strong player for us this season. Further strengthening our backline is Liam Hutt after his release from Chippenham. He's a Swindon youngster. Obviously got released by Swindon, I would imagine. Or no, spent last season on loan at Chippenham in the National League South. Made 2 appearances for them. Both starts for a 6.7. It says he made his senior debut. Oh, well, I guess that was in the Cup. He made his senior debut. Yeah, it was in the Cup. Because, it's been league appearances. But yeah, he's a right back / centre half. Not necessarily the best, but again, he's been signed for potential. He's on contract. I know he can become a good player. He was with us, I think, at Wealdstone in the journey. I seem to have brought him on loan. He did a fairly good job for us. So that's a good omen. Let's just hope he develops here. Our first of our loanees this season was fullback Harry Wright. He joined us on loan from Fleetwood. Can play on both sides and is good with both feet. I felt like we were a little bit thin on the ground by the end of the window at fullback, so I just brought him in just to add a little bit of extra depth. And he has got in as our second best fullback behind Teddy Ramwell, which is quite nice. He's 21 years old, hasn't played in League One for Fleetwood just yet, a product of the Everton Academy, but had a season in the Northern Premier with Atherton Collieries, who of course we have played against. And 28 appearances for them with a 6.74. It's a pretty good sign for the league below that he can step up here. And it looks like he's already good enough for this level. So we will see if he can do the business for us. He looks happy to be here, so we'll see if that plays out. Now, one place we were pretty sure after the window was in goal, and we've only got 2 senior goalkeepers. Sebastian Jensen is still here, but Connor Brown is an Irish former under-19 international, 23 years old, another product of the Swindon Academy. I say that he did start off at Galway, but has been with Swindon for quite some time, and has played twice off the bench in the league. It's very unlucky to have to use a sub-goalkeeper twice. Had a season at Supermarine and did fairly well. That's the level below here, a 7.05. Made 5 sub appearances in the league for Swindon last. They must have a real sick note in goal in the 24-25 season. Spent last season alone at Eastbourne Borough, again at the level below this, for a 6.74, enjoying solid 3, and looks like he's good for this level. Has the potential to step be a good National League player. I feel like he needs a strong season of starting. And having him and Jensen here really does give me a bit of competition for that first choice goalkeeper role. I think they'll probably rotate it, but we'll see how it goes. He's had a chance to play in the league. That's a good sign. And hopefully it will kick on and carry on with us for a long time. Now, our second loading was Thomas Owen from Walsall. Again, I felt like I didn't have enough fullbacks in the squad. Certainly left back was an issue because I don't want to use Matty Dowling there, and Clay Ewing is our next best option. So I thought I'd bring in Thomas Owen. He's allegedly as good or the same level of ability as Clay Ewing, but has slightly more potential. So we're going to try and mix that up, see what happens there. He's had a couple of loan spells from Walsall already. One at Stadium Bridge, 2 divisions below here, and 1 at Hungerford in the division below here. He's not shone, but again, he's not costing us anything. So that's, if he doesn't perform, then we'll just write it off, I guess. He's also been joined by his Walsall teammate Charlie Ragg, who spent last season at Maine Road and got 10 goals for us in 34 appearances in the Northern League 1 Northwest. So, he was a very key player in our promotion push with Maine Road. Wouldn't go back on loan to Maine Road. And again, I didn't feel like I had enough depth at striker. I was hoping to find someone to back Sean Niebert. Because I know he can score goals, he was kind of a natural choice. I don't really think he's necessarily good enough for this level, but he does have the potential to be. So we're just going to hope that he can just chip in here and there and find his footing. And if not, maybe we take him back at memory. I think his contract's up at the end of this season. It is. So if he doesn't perform for FC United, we'll probably sign him for Maine Road for next season. But our true backup striker is going to be this fella, Jordan Oswell. He's an 18-year-old on loan from Morecambe, and certainly is the better of our striker option, or our backup striker options. Whether or not he'll be playing as a striker, he can play everywhere in the attacking midfield as well, is up for debate. He may well play behind Sean Neve a lot of the time. But again, it just gives us the option to rotate. He's not had any loans anywhere. He's just been sat in Norcombe's academy. So we're going to give him a chance to just step up, prove what he can do in friendlies. He's played 6, scored 3, assisted 1 for a 7.08, which is a pretty good sign. We'll talk about the friendlies at the end of the episode, because I did a little test. But we'll come back after I've done the 2 sets of Frances and talk that through. Brian Miller is also joined from Carlisle. He's a Scottish 18-year-old centre-half primarily, but can actually do a job in midfield as well, should we need him to. Again, I don't think he's the starter. I think he's a backup, a bit rotation option. Has the National League potential, but he is our 4th best centre-half behind Poppenholt, Mayer and McCoy, of course, who's already here. And Matty Downing will still be in the mix too. So remains to be seen how much game time he'll get, but again, just a good option for us. Has no previous experience, so if he gets in the team, I guess we'll see what he turns into. And finally, Mark Kerr joined us on loan from Morecambe as well. He is primarily a centre-half, but is better at defensive midfield. Again, just an option to have in there if we decide to switch things up. He's nowhere near the complete article, but it was more with the loans I brought in towards the end of the window, just to add depth to the places I thought that maybe I didn't have quite enough depth going. In terms of players leaving, Sam Jackson's gone on loan to Maine Road, so that will be something comes up shortly. Luca Jackson has gone on loan to Marine. Cody Two's left for Morpeth, which was very annoying because I was actually hoping to play in this season, but he wouldn't sign a new contract with me and just insisted on going, which was unfortunate. And Lissy Kypriadis has gone on loan to Saffron Walden. We also lost at the end of last season a bunch of players on freeze. So Gethin Owen went to Kevin Druid, Wilmslow Albion signed to Keane Williams. These are all kind of young players. Halbridge Mills picked up Will Dyer. Chris Phillips went to Horman. Clitheroe signed Dan Garland. Nicholas Oppong has gone to Chatterton. Ellington have picked up Kieran Chorley. Scott Lesbie's gone to St Michael's. Steve Aston have signed Robert Mitchell, and Ben Jordison has gone to Gloucester, and a few players I think just ended up leaving at the end of their contract as well. Let's get the right season so we can see those. We have got that Kieran Stabana go. He was very good for us last season. I thought about trying to bring him to Maine Road, but I didn't have the budget for it. Luke Griffiths has gone. Kian Spencer McDermott has gone. Jack Tierney, George Wilson, Nathan Johnson, Connor Brown, Will Murdoch, Harry Evers, Avaway and Courtney. Most of these players were in and around the team. I mean, Kieran Stabana played, I played twice for us last season. Played a lot of games in the Northern League. Luke Griffiths, I feel like played a lot of games for us last season, but played 3 there. Yeah, he was not getting in the team. Kian Spencer McDermott spent last season on loan at Maine Road and did very well at Maine Road, but again, wasn't getting in this team. Jack Tierney has played some football for us at centre half last season, 44 games, but I just felt like there were better options than him, so I was quite happy to let him go. It didn't really break my heart, and Cheltenham are looking at him, so he must have something going for him. I couldn't see it coming for him at here. George Wilson was one of our backup goalkeepers. He's gone to St Neots. Mason Johnson was a all-round midfielder who never really got in this team, went on loan to Maine Road, never really got in the Maine Road side either. I say he never really got into this team. He did play for us in the Northern Premier League, but yeah, it was just out of his depth a little bit once we stepped up. Connor Brown was another attacking midfielder. He played 6 times for us, but again, didn't really kick on the way we hoped he would. Will Murdoch was our backup goalkeeper last season. I wanted to keep him. He didn't want a new contract. He wanted bigger and better things. He's got to become the first choice at Gloucester. Harry Evers was our first choice left back last season officially. Played 16 times for us, 6.79 rating. But again, I felt like I could do better. He was rotating quite a lot at the back with Matty Downing. So I just thought it was a good time to let him go. He's gone. He's been released, but Dulwich Hamlet will offer him a lifeline, I'm sure. And Ryan Courtney was a sort of all-around midfielder who went on loan to Melbourne Dynamo, which confusingly isn't in Australia, it's in the Midlands. Who knew? But he's never really played for us, so he wasn't a massive loss. But anyway, let's go talk about the Maine Road transfers, and then we can come back and we'll look at the friendlies. I'll explain the little experiment that I did with the friendlies. So Maine Road, we had a very, very different transfer strategy here in that we didn't really have a budget, and it was never quite clear who was going to be here at the start of the season because players were being wanted and offered deals and refusing deals all over the place. So the first signing I brought in here was Kieran Burton, who is a blonde man with dreadlocks, which always looks great. Left back, centre half, left wing back, very good in all positions. Should do a job for us, should come straight into our first team, probably as a centre half. He is on a free from Hartlepool. Well, he played in the National League 13 times last season, played in the National League North for Southport the season before that, and then played 15 games in the National League for Hartlepool the season before, following a season in the National League North for Scarborough Athletic. So he's been around, he's done the journey. And frankly, this is a big drop down for him. And I think he's going to prove to be much, much better than these star ratings say. Because if he's managed to hold his own in the leagues above us for 4 years, I think he should be just fine here. He's, again, nowhere near the complete article, but, you know, we're here as a finishing school rather than as as a base that signs the big stars. So we'll see what we can do. We'll see if we can get his ability spiking back up and go from there. So one area I felt we were lacking following the departure of our loanee from Manchester United last year was in defensive midfield. And Lewis Nolan is one of the players I brought in to address that. He's had an interesting path to get. He's not necessarily the best player all round. He does have decent ability ratings and potential for a 20-year-old. Started his career at Crewe, where he didn't ever really get in the team. And then he went on a free to Farworth Griffin in the Warrington and District League Premier Division, which I'm sure is a very... I have no idea what level this is. Will it tell us? Level 13, so quite far below us. But our scouts rated him. They said that we should take a look, so I did, and brought him in on trial. First of all, he looked like he was the business, so here he is. Here's Lewis Nolan coming in to join us, £12,000 a year. But I think possibly a very, very good pickup for us. And in a very similar vein, I needed a striker, and one of our scout recommendations was Justin Iwobi. He's about £50,500 a year, 21 years old. I have no idea if he's related to Alex Iwobi or not, but he has had a weird history. He started his career at Stoke, went to Halifax in the National League, never played, but had loans at Golcar United in the Northeast County or Northern Counties East Premier, 7 games, 2 goals. Then smashed 23 and 34 in the Northern Premier at this level on loan the season before last. And that's a pretty good sign because we wanted him for his goal scoring. So we're happy to have him as a goal scorer. Then got released by Stoke, ended up at the University of Bolton Borough, which is an odd name. The University of Bolton Borough, in the Lancashire Amateur League Premier Division, which is level 13. Again, weird level for him to end up at, having smashed the Northern Premier League. We got 7 goals in 16 games playing there. I thought maybe it was a good chance to bring him back up to this level where he's proven he can score goals at Morpeth. And to be honest, he's not too bad. He's got the physicals, possibly not quite the technicals or the mentals, but he can improve. And I think he probably will improve. And he gives us an extra option up top, which is most assuredly what we were looking for this season. So keep an eye out for Justin Iwobi. I think he'll be quite dangerous this season. Now, our final permanent signing from, again, further down the pyramid is better one for the future. I didn't feel there was quite enough depth at left back. So I signed Michael Peake. He's a 17-year-old who came through at Milton. And Milton are playing in the Manchester Football League Division 2. So 2 divisions below Maine Road reserves. But again, he's got potential for the future. So we brought him in just to essentially just see if he can develop in our reserves. He's making a 2-division step up first. May not get some game time this season, or if we get into an emergency situation, we'll bring him in. But I think he's got the mentals, certainly, to become a very, very strong player for us. Just need his physicals and his technicals to improve. But plenty of time for Michael Peake. But the strategy here was essentially that was the budget gone, and I had to go looking for loans. So the rest of our players who come in are on loans. Let's go meet those guys. So to Morecambe twice for our first 2 signings. The first one coming is Farid Ramzan, 18-year-old Pakistani. The strategy here was essentially, I'm not paying anyone's wages, so we'll bring everyone in we can get to come in and take a look at them and see if they do something. And Farid Ramzan is very much one of those players in that he has got massive potential, but no ability. So we'll see if he gets in the team at all. But we'll talk about him anyway. He's joined someone, as I said, from Morecambe, but he came through at Ramsgate, and Morecambe obviously saw something in him. He has been playing for their reserves, so we are going to have to hope he can do the business for us. It's not been spectacular in their reserves. But again, he was just kind of brought in as an option, as were most of the loanees. Joining him is Charlie Gorski, a winger and striker. Again, with big potential for this level, not necessarily in general, but as I said, it was very much a case of let's just add bodies to the squad and sort it out later. He has played for Curzon Ashton in the National League North, played 20 games, 17 off the bench, 6.38, but I assume it was a relegation season. Only got 2 goals and an assist, which makes you wonder what he was doing. But he could very easily only be killed on for 17 minutes in those 17 solo appearances. So we're not going to hold it against him. we're just going to try him out and see if he can make the step up into our first team as the season progresses. He doesn't have a lot going for him in his attributes, but, you know, that's often the way. We then picked up 4 from Shrewsbury. Jack Loughran was the first one, a central midfielder who plays an attacking midfielder. His physicals are awful, his mentals are pretty good, and his technicals are acceptable, is what I'm going to say. He's certainly probably better as an attacking midfielder. He looks slightly better highlighted that way. But a player who had a season higher in Vauxhall Motors than the division below us last season and did a 6.87 rating, 5 goals, 2 assists in 36. I think that's probably a sign he could do the business for us. He only has a 2-star rating, but I'm not going to hold that too much esteem because he does have National League North potential, and I think he can become a major player for us this year. The first of his teammates joining us is Gethin Owen. He's a Welsh 18-year-old. Already a good Northern League Premier player, a good, potentially National League standard player. I like his physicals. I'm not fully enamoured with his mentals, but he can improve, and his technicals aren't great. But one thing that has become an issue is I like to play with 2 defensive midfielders with Maine Road, and he can't do it. So I'm going to try and teach him it. That's the plan. He's going to start the first few games in that role. We're going to hope he puts in some performances and learns the role fairly quickly. In terms of his history, he had a season in a level below, the same level as this, with Weymouth last season, got a 6.9 out of 20 appearances, scored 3 times, and got an assist. So I'm assuming he can do the business here. I need to either find the way to tweak the system to fit him in, or I need him to fit the system. We're going to have a bit of a slog with this one, but I think it will come good. So remind me at the end of the season that I said that, because it could have gone badly wrong, or I could be very, very right about Gethin Owen. Jarek Glynn also comes from Shrewsbury. He's a striker / attacking midfielder. Again, I was looking for depth and options there, and he kind of fit the bill. He is decent enough in both positions. Certainly not a standout at anything, really. But everything is fairly mid for this level. He's not an outstanding player at this level. He's not a bad player at this level. He'll just do a job as a poacher when we need him. His natural role is as a shadow striker, but is apparently a better poacher. In terms of his history, had a season last year at the Northern League 1, so the division below this, where we just came from, a 6.813 goals in 14, which is pretty good. And during Shrewsbury, in fact, from Ripon City Reserves, or Ripon City, which level is that? That's level 13 as well. So another former level 13 player who's come into the save. But he's played a few games there. He played previously for Hill as well in the Liverpool Premier League, which I guess also level 13. So, yeah, not had many standout seasons yet, but you feel like he's on the rise looking at him, and we'll just see if he can break into the team and help us out. And then finally from Shrewsbury, James Ross, a left-back, centre-back, left midfield, kind of an all-rounder, a plug to fit in holes, a squad player, as it were. Not great at anything, but he's costing us nothing, so we'll see what he can do for us, I guess. He's played for Uxbridge in the Isthmian Division 1, so the level below this last season, 11 times, 2 assists, 6.79 rating, and has played for Farsley in the National League North, 5 sub-appearances for a 6.57. So he's obviously had some potential seen him somewhere, and we'll just have to see if that comes to fruition at Maine Road. Graham Gebby is a 17-year-old Scotsman. A centre-half, comes in from Gateshead. He's already a Northern Premier standard player who could improve a lot. He's got everything in the right place and nothing but is essentially his thing. We need to work on his positioning, which I'm hopefully already doing, but we'll check the trains out. Nope, we've got him working on quickness. Let's get him working on defensive positioning. That'll be far, far more important for him this season. I'm looking about this week of football we're in here. Why not help him out all around? Because he has no left foot. But he's already our 4th best centre-half, which is a very good sign. He'll get some football this season. And again, just a player to look at really for us. He started at Gateshead, went on loan to Farsley in the National League. Gateshead are in the League 2 now. Wow. Farsley in the National League North last season for 27 appearances and a 6.64. And scored twice, which tells me he's a danger in the box, which is something we really do need. So His aerial presence could prove very, very helpful for us from set pieces. We'll see if he gets us some goals. He'll be joined in the centre of defence by one of the two Scunthorpe players we've won this year. Another Scotsman, Rory Sheeran. He is, again, a good centre-half who is good all around, not necessarily as dangerous in the air, despite being massive, 193 centimetres. His heading isn't fantastic. His last season alone was at Rushall in the division across from this, the Southern League Premier Central. He played 36 games for 3 goals and one man of the match, 6.69, and also played for Hitchin the season before for 11 appearances. So he's got experience at this level, which is very good considering he's only 18. Again, actually, we do need to work on his, everything really. We'll work on his weaker foot while we're in here, while I remember. And hopefully, again, another option. He's our third choice centre-half officially this season. And hopefully, that will prove quite useful. One of his teammates has also joined us in Greg Foley. He's a left winger with a lot of pace. His technicals are rubbish for this level, but he is our second best left winger behind Coburn Bird. And Coburn Bird will do fine on this level. I'm very confident that Coburn Bird will be just fine on this level. But his physicals are absolutely on point, and they're so important in FM. His last season was at the Northwest Counties Premier, so a few divisions below this. But a 6.9, 40 appearances, 3 goals, 7 assists, 3 player of the matches, and then played it for Downtown, the Eastern Counties equivalent of the Northwest Counties, 27 appearances, 6 goals, 2 assists, and a 6.87. So he's definitely got the skills somewhere to do the business for us, and he might provide competition for Coburn Bird. It's certainly a real possibility for him. He can do quite a few roles, so we'll keep an eye on that. Now, of course, only the Swindon loanee, we've picked up Joe Clifton as a goalkeeping option. He'll be our third choice keeper. Again, I was a little bit worried we would be shy of goalkeepers this season. Daniel Cameron doesn't want a new contract. He's still here on a non-contract basis, and no one's come in for him yet. I'm hoping no one does, because he is by far our best goalkeeper, where I just wanted to make sure we were covered in case that became a real situation. He had a season on loan at Witham in Essex Senior League on loan from Kettering. Only conceded 38 in 36, 11 clean sheets, a 6.64. The Essex Senior League is at level of that's the county league, so it's the 2 leagues below here, 2 leagues below us, I think. Either way, he did enough that Swindon picked him up on a free to try and develop him and sent him on loan to us. So we will see what becomes of him. He looks like a decent all-round goalkeeper for this level already, to be honest. He might not be far off. Let's do a comparison with Daniel Cameron and see just how far off the two of them are, because that will be telling. So Daniel Cameron in the blue, a much better all-round goalkeeper, but Clifton exceeds him in aerials and speed and mental. So could be a good battle between the two of them for the number 1 share this season. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. MK Dons have kindly lent us Matt Ahmed for the season. He's primarily going to be playing as a right winger. Can play as an attacking midfielder, a right midfielder, or as a striker. Can do all those jobs, but we are mostly interested in as a right winger. 2.5-star ability with 5-star potential. National League, that is. And again, his physicals are all there for a winger. He's got flair as well, which is nice to see. He's unambitious as his personality, which is not great, but his technicals are pretty good. I think he'll be solid at this level. Spent last season on at Sevenoaks in the Isthmian League Premier, so the division across from this, the Midlands version. That's the Essex of London version of this, where, he's done pretty well, to be honest. He's done fairly well. 17 appearances, a goal, 6.69. So hopefully Matt Ahmed will step up with some helpful goals for us this season. Wigan have loaned us Jake Spaven, another goalkeeping option. I've got so many goalkeeping options, but again, I was just terrified Daniel Cameron would leave us. Audie Lumansis not really good enough for this level. So I wanted to just bring in some extra options. And he's 19 years old. He looks decent enough already. Hasn't had any loans anywhere, so we can't look at his history. We're just going to have to hope that he develops and starts stacking up if we need to replace Daniel Cameron in a hurry. Diego Edwards joined us as a striker option on loan from Notts County. He is pretty decent all round as a poacher and advanced forward. Needs to work on his pace to truly be effective. But his finishing and composure will mean he's very good in front of goal. And in terms of his history, played on loan at Came United in the Southern League Premier South, which I believe is at this level. 26 appearances, 6 goals, 1 assist, 6.52. But I'm not sure if that was a relegation season or not. Has played 6 times in League 2, though, for Notts County for a 6.57, including a start and a couple of cup appearances. Has only scored once in the cup for Notts County, but again, he's 22, so a little bit on the older side. I've just realised we should probably dip into here, and we'll work on his weaker foot as well. But yeah, we can hopefully get some goals from him this season, because that backup role for Justin Iwobi is going to be a really hotly contested one. So who knows? Someone could step up and be a hero. It could be Diego Edwards. Next up, the first of 2 Northampton loanees, Fabian Nagy has come in as an 18-year-old Englishman. He's not terribly determined and he's not great, but he has Northern Premier potential, so that's what we're kind of banking on. Started his career at Bradford Park Avenue. Northampton have seen enough to take him in for a free, and he's been playing for their reserves quite a lot and fairly consistently, but not spectacularly. So again, just another option to have in the options box for this season. Joining him is Malcolm Edwards, who I think will get some game time, seeing as he compares a right back, a centre half, a centre midfielder, and a right winger. He's jack of all trades, master of none, is the best way to sum up Malcolm Edwards. 18 years old. He had a season on loan in Northern League 1 West, so the division below this last season. 11 appearances for a 6.38 isn't spectacular. But again, he's a good all-round option. It'll probably be someone I keep on the bench just because I know I can throw him in almost anywhere. And that will really, really help us out just through the season. Gavin McDonnell is joining us from York. Another striker, again, just more options. He'll probably be our second choice striker outright this season. He's kind of an advanced forward slash target on, which is odd because he's not very tall. But apparently he is decent in the air, which is what makes him a decent target man. He's quite strong as well, which will help. I don't know if he's going to be a prolific goal scorer, and he's got no real history to speak of. He has had 12 goals for York's reserves, and they're in League 2 the last season. 4 the season before that, and 1 in 6 the season before that. Has played 5 times in pre-season for us and has not really impressed. So that's a concern. But we'll keep an eye on him because he could develop. And if he does, he's already a good Northern Premier League player and good National League potential. So again, it could be a good option, and we will need him if Justin Iwobi picks up an injury or a suspension. So we are going to have to hope he comes good for us. Jason Schrern is an Australian left-back, joins us on loan from Tranmere. I looked at him for FC United, wasn't quite good enough, so I thought I'd take a chance with him with Maine Road, a division lower. Again, not a standout in any capacity, really. His mentals are fairly good, but he's also had some experience. He's playing in the division below this, 27 games last season in the league, a 6.53. Joined Tranmere from Darlington, and at Darlington, he did play in the National League North and a lot for Darlington reserves. So we're going to hope for the best with him and see if we can make something happen for him, because he is going to be our third choice left back this season. And that I say third choice, but Kieran Burton is one of those 2 choices ahead of him. And he will be playing at centre half mostly. So basically, Jason Schrern is our backup left back. Lucas Barnes comes in from Harrogate on loan just to give us options on the right-hand side. He is a right back or a right winger. And to be honest, he's not bad either. He's not great either. He's got good physicals, though, which will really help out. I don't see him being a starter, but he could break through into the team. We will find out. I played last season for Yaxley in the United Counties Premier South League, whatever. That's at level 10, I think, 11. I know it's a couple of levels below this is essentially where he's been playing, but he's did quite well. 7 goals in 34 appearances for a 6.74. I'd imagine he was mostly being played as a winger last season, so that will help. We'll also just dip in here and develop his weaker foot whilst we've noticed. And yeah, just one more for the squad. Jacob Barry is another goalkeeping option, probably our de facto backup / number 1 if Cameron leaves. He's on loan from Carlisle. He's 20 years old. He has played quite a bit of football already. He's actually not too bad for this level. So I'm quite happy with have him as a backup at minimum. Last season, he was the backup at Carlisle. He was then previously on loan and division below this for 2 seasons, or for a season twice, apparently, at Consett. where he's played 34 games, conceded 36 goals, and had 11 clean sheets for a 6.5-ish rating. So a 6.6-ish rating for the season, and had a loan at Carlisle City in the Northern Division 1, which is a couple of steps below. That was a step below where Maine Road reserves were last season. But he did quite well there as well, so we'll see if he can step up and become our solid number one if he needs to. And if not, we've got a very strong backup. And I promise you, this is going to end. Just 2 to go with the loanies. Wrexham have sent us Alfie Lussey on loan, 19-year-old Welshman. Can't play as a holding midfielder or a central midfielder, so he will very much be an option for us there. Very, very good technically already for this level. Not too bad mentally. It's his physicals really laying him down. I don't see why he's too stuck, because we've got other midfielders in the squad that aren't really that good, that have played for us. So that could become a real interesting prospect to him development-wise. Spent last season at the level below this for Brighouse, 32 appearances, 3 goals, 9 assists, a 6.81. So I will say probably quite a strong option for us as a player in the squad. We will have to work on these physicals, because that's not going to cut it, especially if 5 acceleration. He's going to leave us exposed. But hopefully we're already working on that. We're not. We're working on the wrong thing, because I've left my coaches do that. Let's take charge of that, put him on quickness so he gets that acceleration up, and hopefully he becomes a star. And finally, Charlie Drury joined us as a midfield option, who will be mostly playing as an attacking midfielder when he does play. He's on loan from Stevenage. He's nothing necessarily spectacular, but if we click on him as an attacking midfielder, has all the right things in all the right places and a little bit of pace. And it's not necessarily the finisher I'd like behind my striker, but certainly able to do a job. Has been playing off the bench mostly for Stevenage's reserves, but that's, again, not too shameful, because he can do a job for us. Look at the players who've gone out as well whilst we're here. We've sent Maureen Adoro on loan to Runcorn Linnets. Reuben Brammer's gone on loan to North Lee. James Clark joined Stratford on a free. Owen Grange, who joined Chaddock's on a free. Norman Norland has gone to Stockport Town on loan as well. And in terms of the end of season now, so with nothing there to speak of, but I think I released a few players as well. Kieran Keane has gone. Hagee Damber, who was, of course, very good for us in that first season. He was our first choice goalkeeper for our first season in charge. We brought him on loan, I remember, from Guiseley. He was incredible for us. Second season, he didn't really play, but I gave him a contract anyway, because I felt like we owed him one. He played mostly for our reserves, but did very well there in the reserves, and it says he has joined West Auckland, but I thought I might have released him at the back end of last season thinking of that, and he's gone to Stockton. Maybe that's what's happened, and I've just got myself all discombobulated. I have got myself discombobulated. So this season, Joe Ridley leaves us, which was a bit sad, because he has played some football for us. He had a good first season for us, 7 appearances, 4 goals. Looked like he was going to be the man up top for a little while. Didn't really pan out, and he did play more for our reserves. He didn't play more for us. He played for 13 games and only scored twice for us last season. Did a 7.07. I think was mostly playing as the attacking midfielder last year, but he wasn't ever going to step up to this level and be consistently beneficial. So it just felt right to end out on a free, and Barnsley put an offer for him. So he developed for us, but again, I wouldn't say he was necessarily becoming a worldie for us. That's fine. Shaw as Fitzo was a bit of a surprise release, I suppose, because, again, so good for us in his first season with the club. Genuinely was carrying us in that first season. He came on loan from Shekshed. We signed him off the back of that. And again, had a very, very good season in the Northwest Counties for us. Last season, played exclusively for the reserves. I did very well for them as well, but I couldn't justify keeping him around because his development curve wasn't there. He's gone to Cotmanthorpe in the York League Division 3, which is quite a drop down. He'll be, I would imagine, by far their best player. I'd be surprised if he's not their key player. He is. Yeah, he should be absolutely smashing it at that level, because I mean, that's what level must be 13, 14. He's dropped down 5 levels nearly. And yeah, I would say he's probably going to be absolutely smashing it there. Might even play his way into the Gibraltar squad looking at that. Lewis Ruggs was a player who didn't really play much for us, 4 goals in 8 games, but didn't really come through. Kieran Nicholson was a starter for us as a right back for a couple of seasons, but again, didn't really kick on. Went on loan to Droylsden last season, did very well, and we've let him go, and he's gone to Manchester Corinthians, which is a pretty big drop for him. He should be an absolute star for Corinthians, I would have to suggest. And Kadri Berejak, our other Gibraltarian, the under-21 international, again was very, very good for us when we used him, but was not kicking on as much as we'd like. Played very, very well for us the season before last. 31 games, 9 goals, 13 assists for a 7.29. We had better options last season, so I learned about the run call where he absolutely smashed the Northwest Counties League last year as well. He's done enough for Bootle to give him a chance in the Northern Premier this season, so we may well see him, but he's looking like he's going on loan again. But yeah, he can be a very good player. I thought about offering him a new deal, but I just didn't know if I had the ability to carry him for another year. And I felt like if we got promoted, it would be too steep a curve for him. And if we get momentum going beyond the National League North South, but his potential is, he was never going to make it for team. It just felt fairer to let him go and kind of start having a proper career. Alfie Marriott was a big loss for us, though. He refused to sign a new deal. He was a very good option for us as centre-half. I really did rate him as a backup. And he did play a lot of games when he first joined us on loan and looked like the business for a long time. When we signed him, when he played in our reserves, then he has gone out on loan to West Auckland last season, where he's done very, very well. But again, it was time to sort of let him go back to his homeland for Tees FC in the Wensleydale Football League, which sounds like a made-up thing from Wallace and Gromit. Level 13, he's dropped down. He'll be an absolute star at that level. But yeah, again, he'd kind of run his course here. He was a backup, so that explains that. Jake Wood, a very similar situation, was a player we brought in to see if he would develop and had a lot of loads. We did very, very well, but never looked like coming through for us. So it was time to sort of mercy kill him. And Bryce Cabella has also left. He was the Congolese striker we brought in. Also, he's in for our academy, actually. He did. He sort of came through our academy. I signed one free off the free transfer list. We were his first club. He's had a whole bunch of loans where he's done well, but never at a big level. So we've let him just go and make his fortune elsewhere. Somehow has 721 caps for the Democratic Republic of Congo. And I have no idea how that's happened. Anyway, I talked about the friendlies. We'll go through them. You'll notice the commonality that was the experiment. Three good wins to start off with. Then we started playing the money friendlies against Wigan, where we lost. We lost playing Orient for Rochdale, to Oxford United 1-0, and to Trafford 2-1 in our last friendly. We're playing Barnsley in the first game of the season in next episode. Looking at the FC United, we're trying to get into the game already. The FC United fixtures or pre-season with we're playing South Shields in that first game. We're going to start off with a good bunch of wins against much smaller clubs. We then played Oxford, who are ex-Verity, and again, a 1-0 loss. If we can lose 1-0 with both teams to Oxford, they are in theory at the same level, which bodes very well for Maine Road at the least. We then lost to Wickham, we lost to Hibernian, we drew 4-4 with Kilmarnock, which was a very good pre-season result. I don't know if they were at full strength, but if they were, we've absolutely done something special there. And then we finished off our pre-season with a 4-2 win against Liversedge. And yeah, we've looked fairly strong in pre-season. But we are, as I said, going to go in with the South Shields game and the Barnsley game for next episode. That will be where we come back. So a very strong start for us. We're going to see some old faces, I'm sure. And yeah, hopefully we'll be looking very, very good. I'm aware it's going to be very long, but I'm going to try and cut it down as much as I can, I promise. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I have always been chasing. If you like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Share the channel with your friends, leave the comments down below. And until next time, thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a good one.